Damian Lillard is one of the greatest bucket-getting point guards the NBA has ever seen. From his half-court threes to his wizardry at the rack, there aren't many ways to stop him from getting his, especially in the clutch. Over the last decade, the dude has proved that by consistently hitting ridiculous shots. Because his game is so electric and he's such a chill dude, pretty much everyone loves the guy. It hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows for him though. Growing up, he lived in a violent neighborhood in eastern Oakland, California and was surrounded by drugs and crime. To make things worse, he was 5'5" at the start of high school. The fun-sized freshman's dreams of playing in the NBA seem more out of reach than a top locker. Hell, his chances at playing in college didn't look good either. He accomplished nothing 2 years in and had played at 2 different high schools. On the bright side, he grew 4 more inches. Despite what a lot of people will tell you, 4 inches is a lot. By the grace of God, his growth spurt continued, and as a senior, he stood at 6 feet. The year prior, he had transferred to Oakland High School, which ended up being the perfect place because he got buckets, especially during his senior year. According to his Weber State bio, that year he averaged 28 points per game with a game high of 45. With those numbers, it's extremely surprising he didn't have more stars. Rivals.com ranked him as just a 2-star recruit. The reason for this was his dainty frame. He clocked in at a measly 165 pounds. This led to him receiving only 4 offers, including one from Weber State. His AAU coach happened to be good friends with the head coach there and got him and Dame connected. Weber State's coach was really interested in him, so he would call him to try to establish a relationship, but Lillard wouldn't say much. He liked to let his game do the talking. When the dude went to see him play in real life, he was in awe. He thought no way they would be able to get him. He's too good, but that's where he was wrong. That random college in Utah ended up being Dame's choice because they made the effort to watch him play, and being in Utah meant he could get away from the violence. As a freshman, he started 26 out of 31 games, scoring 11 points a night, helping the Wildcats to a 21-10 record. While he had a really solid first year, his sophomore season showed everyone why he deserved more stars. He nearly doubled his scoring average, dropping 20 a night, and was named the Big Sky Conference MVP. But with every rose, there is a thorn. After making his way onto NBA draft boards, he broke a bone in his foot just 9 games into his junior year and missed the rest of the season. This seemed like bad luck, but it was really a blessing in disguise. It motivated him to work as hard as he possibly could. His mind was set on returning and being better than he ever was. Religiously lifting weights and watching film was how he went about this. It worked too. He became much stronger, and while watching film, he realized his shot was flatter than Taylor Swift's ass. So immediately he hit the gym to fix it, taking hundreds of high arcing shots every day. Then in 2012, when he was finally cleared to play, he bounced back and had one of the greatest seasons in Weber State history, scoring nearly 25 a night while shooting over 40% from 3. Although he could have played one more year with the Wildcats, draft boards had him as the best point guard prospect. That wasn't good enough for him to be a top 5 pick though. The big one-eyebrowed monster Anthony Davis and Florida's Bradley Beal were among those selected before him. But not long after, with the 6th pick, Portland made one of their greatest decisions ever. It didn't take long for them to realize that. In his NBA debut, the dude put up a 23-point, 11-assist double-double in a win against the Lakers. Through 12 games, he was playing a whopping 37 minutes a night, dishing out 6 assists, scoring 20 points, and shooting 40% from 3. He was a star right from the get-go. By the end of December, he had drilled his first of many game-winning shots. The dude had massive nuts. His impressive rookie campaign continued throughout the entire season, winning every single Player of the Month award and then eventually unanimously winning Rookie of the Year. This was especially impressive because, as I mentioned earlier, AD and Beal were in this class. Lillard was so good neither of them got a single first place vote. While he saw tons of personal success, Portland was really bad and missed the playoffs. Though the following season this would drastically change. In just their second year together, the dynamic duo of Dame and LaMarcus were both named All-Stars and led the Trailblazers to 54 wins. At the time, Dame was seen as LaMarcus's sidekick. Rightfully so. Aldridge had a lot more experience and was without a doubt their best player. The dude's midi was money and his post-up game was lethal. Lillard wasn't too far behind him though. Come playoff time, LaMarcus dropped 2 40 bombs on Houston, taking a 2-0 first-round series lead. In the games following, his shot cooled off, but Dame picked up the slack. He was automatic from deep, connecting on nearly 55% of his threes in the final 4 games. Through 5, Portland led 3-2, but the Rockets put up a fight in Game 6. Then with 0.9 seconds left, the Trailblazers were down and it looked like there was going to be a Game 7. Aldridge had scored 8 points the game before and was shooting just 10 for 26 that night. Because of this, they sent the small guard from Weber State flying across the court to fling up one of the most memorable shots in playoff history. Dame time had been born. The happiness was short-lived though. In the semifinals, they went up against San Antonio and got throat throttled, something that would continue to happen to Dame and the Blazers year after year. You see, in 2015, they made the playoffs again, only to be dogged by the Grizzlies. This led to Aldridge signing with the Spurs and 3 other starters leaving leaving as well. Lillard was left to carry the team by himself. Well, that's what everyone thought. What actually happened was CJ McCollum came out of nowhere, improving his 6 points a night to 20, winning Most Improved Player. It was unfortunate Aldridge left, but with McCollum's volume scoring, the future still seemed bright. They made the playoffs and they even got past the first round, but in the second, they would unfortunately run into arguably the greatest team ever assembled. Dame was a flamethrower from deep in that series, taking nearly 12 threes a night, hitting 43% of them. His long-range bombs shot his scoring average up to a wild 32 a game. Along with that, McCollum was dropping 20 a night like it was nothing. But even that wasn't enough to stop Golden State. With Draymond Green scoring like prime Tracy McGrady, there was no hope. The Trailblazers managed to squeeze out one win, but in 5 it was all over. The unfortunate part about that is over the course of the next 2 years, they would go 0-8 in the playoffs. Dame and McCollum were fun, but they didn't work. They were both super talented shot makers and played a cool style of basketball, but absolutely no defense was getting played. This led to the Warriors obliterating them in the first round the next year, and then the year after that, the Pelicans swept them. Lillard didn't shoot well in either of those series, finishing with a combined effective field goal percentage of 45%. At this point, he was 27 and hadn't even made it past the second round. Although there hadn't been much team success, Dame was killing it on a personal level. He had already been named to the All-NBA first and second team and was getting votes for MVP. The problem was this became a pattern. Each year he put up amazing stats, but due to poor roster construction, success didn't come. Following the back-to-back first-round sweeps, Dame began drilling logo threes on a much more consistent basis. The previous couple years, he went 17 for 63 from 30 to 34 feet, but in the 2018-19 season, he improved greatly, knocking down 16 out of 46. His egregiously deep three at times seemed like a stupid shot, but it would be the reason for one of the greatest playoff moments ever. For the 6th year in a row, Dame brought the Blazers to the postseason. After getting embarrassed every year prior, he was ready to be the one doing the embarrassing. Portland matched up with OKC in the first round, and through 4 games, they led 3-1. In Game 5, Dame made sure they moved on by putting on a show from deep, nailing 10 threes, including this historic bomb over Paul George. Dame cooled off a bit in round 2 against the Nuggets. Despite this, he still averaged 25 and came out on top in the hard-fought 7-game series. It was more so thanks to CJ because he came up clutch in the final game, hitting a tough midi to seal the win. They had finally made it past the second round. There was just one problem though. Golden State was their opponent in the conference finals. This was the 3rd time in 4 years they faced off against them, and it ended up like how it usually did. They got their ass kicked. Regardless of the conference finals collapse, hopes were high because they were finally able to make it past the second round. This was false hope though. The 2019-17 season was more of the same. Dame killed it during the regular season, averaging 30, hitting nearly 40% of his 30-foot bombs. Then come playoff time, shit hit the fan. It was a never-ending cycle of mediocrity. Dame deserved better. His final playoff run as a Blazer was in 2021, and it was a historic series. He averaged a crazy efficient 34 points per game and 10 assists. But even that wasn't enough to beat a Jamal Murray-less Nuggets squad. The following 2 years, Dame dealt with injuries and the Trailblazers were horrible. Then in 2023, he was finally freed from the torture of Portland, becoming a Milwaukee Buck alongside the Greek Freak. As of right now, it's not looking too good for them, but we'll see if they can figure it out. Although his career up to this point has been filled with tons of disappointment, as a high schooler, the dude was counted out and he's proved everyone wrong. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Click the screen to watch either one of the videos that pops up.